Hey everyone, welcome back to another 31-minute podcast. Energy's high today, boys. I can feel it.
Through the roof.
Yeah. Woo. Jackson. Oh, there you go. You got a little woo from Jackson. I just woke him up about 20 minutes ago.
A little woo-woo.
Yeah, I've been recovering.
Jackson's like, morning, Jordan, by the way.
Hey, good morning.
Jackson's like, I'll get up early. So we were going to go to Sydney today to do a podcast with the Podman, Mick, but we were just too crammed today, so we'll go next Tuesday. So I rang him last night and said, can we come next week? And he's like, yep. And then so Jackson had all the stuff packed away in his car, like all the lights, it's a bit of a job. Like there's quite a bit of stuff, the podcast recording stuff, everything. And so I rang Jackson. I was sitting out the front of the house, actually, and he was in the house. And I just, when you sit in the car and make all your calls. And then I said, Jack, we're not going to Sydney. And I was like, oh, really? Oh, okay. He goes, I'll get to the factory early and set up and whatever else. So I get ready, walking down the stairs at like 4:30 or something, whatever it was. And then 4:45, Jackson's in bed with the dogs.
My alarm was set at 4:45.
Do you have all the dogs in your bed?
No, I got two that I didn't want Bear in my room, but Bear was annoying to everyone else. So Bear and Archie sleep on the floor on their beds in my room.
Yeah, but the door closed. They're all in there together, like three little smelly teenagers.
Probably stinks in there and I just don't even know.
One time Bear's our dog, but loves Archie and Jackson and wants to sleep in their room. One time Bear's not that well trained, so Bear just pooed all over the room everywhere one morning. Jackson wakes up like, oh!
You should have seen it. It was like a bomb went off and Dad goes, oh, do you reckon you can clean it when we get home? I'm like, no. Like,
we've got to go train.
It was like Vietnam in my room.
Just clean it later.
I was looking forward to talking to, I haven't met Mick the Pod guy, but I was like going to ask him some real direct questions.
Yeah, we need to.
That everybody's thinking, I reckon. But
I'm looking forward to it. But I've got to be in the right zone for him because he's like got so much info in his head. We sort of, last podcast, we butt heads a little bit because I was trying to direct. Were you there? No, I was trying to direct him a bit because he gets carried away and goes off in the clouds with all his info. He's got so much info. I think he's better than most doctors on gut health.
He just needs to be brief and to the point.
He does. He does.
Like
I've got to learn more and more and more about him because I spend quite a bit of time talking to him now. And then he's a bit of a genius, I have to say. He knows a lot. So anyway, we'll save that for next week. That'll be next Tuesday. Let's get into that. Can I play a video that I saw on the way here? And it sort of is where I'm at the moment. So I'll start this again. Ready?
So what if somebody has hurt you? So what if your parents treated you bad as a child? Or you had bad marriage? Let it go. Release it. We don't need it anymore. It's time to move on. Let go of all the things that'll hold you back. Forgive the people, release them, and then let go of fear. And we can move into a totally new dimension of love, and that is where everything is. We have to let it go. It's not useful anymore. We've got to move into a totally new dimension that's going to be amazing to people when they get there. And the whole new world is going to be based on love. If you have love, there will be no violence, there will be no wars. It's a whole new direction, and it'll take a lot to turn people around. But that's why I travel so much all over the world, so people can get this message.
So Dolores Kennon, you don't know who she is, but she talks, she just died recently, but she talks about the world is splitting into two. And one is the old world and one is the new world, vibrationally. And I reckon a few years ago, when all of this weirdness started to happen, I was writing that frequency book. I just finished it yesterday, by the way, completely edited. Goes off to print now, which is good. I stopped writing that and I started looking at I felt the world was going all weird and, there's like control and there's the governments and all of this weird stuff. But I felt something was changing, and that I reckon that's when I really got onto the frequency thing. But what she was saying is the world's splitting in two. You're going to the 5D and there's the 3D, the fifth dimension and the third dimension. The third dimension is people who are stuck, and the fifth dimension is people who are going with it. That's what she's talking about. And you've got to do all these little things. And did you notice forgiving people and all of that? That's fine. But did you notice she said fear? you've got to let go of fear, otherwise you won't go. Pretty interesting. Think about what fear does to you. I know we did a podcast on it the other day, but think about what fear does. It stops you in your tracks.
Do you fear anything?
Do I fear anything? Don't know.
Do you remember the last thing that you feared?
Less and less now. Yeah, less and less. I sort of see it as what's going on inside of you is literally creating the world that you live. So I've put a lot of work into all of this stuff.
But do you think you had, as you're building the business, a fear of going back into your old life with nothing if it didn't work out? Like, do you think that it? Do you think if used right, it can become a driver?
Yeah, well, that's my driver, I reckon. I think it is my driver because I'm just constantly trying to create a better and better life. But now I look at it and it's a daily thing. And it's one of the things. Someone sent us a question the other day. We're going to do 3 questions today, but one of them was about. Can you read it? Just that first one.
The first one.
But my whole Before you do that, sorry. Before you do it, my whole journey now is about where can you go vibrationally? Because once you're vibrating at a frequency, like yesterday wasn't a great day. I was just not really in the zone yesterday. Things didn't really go right. I was a bit like, they didn't go bad. It was just, I was just not in front of the energy. So when you wake up every day, how you wake up places you in an energy spot. And I was sort of like there, but just like bumbling along a little bit. No one would notice.
I was the exact same. We barely spoke all day. Yeah.
And the results don't happen right. There was an exchange meant to happen yesterday. I don't think that happened yesterday. And things just don't flow that well, and you can chase all you want, but it moves away from you. It's sort of like, unless you're in front of the energy, very powerful spot to be in front of the energy.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
About my experience with this?
Yeah.
So I know what set my energy off yesterday and I couldn't restart it. So our vendors know we get up early. I got a call from an owner that, like, I've been trying to sell their house for a few months. I've just converted to auction. 5:02 a.m. I got a call from this person. If they called me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd still have anxiety. At 5:02 a.m., it was like, literally, I'd just get up. I was just setting my day. I didn't answer it. I was literally like, I just can't answer that call right now. I just can't. But I pushed it back until about 6. That hour, I was like, like, what are they calling me about? Like, and then anyway, I called them back and it was like the best conversation you could. But from that moment forward, that was it. I couldn't get it back. It like sent me a bit out. I was that annoyed because I actually woke up feeling like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. But see, what's the for sure. So think about getting ahead of the end. I've had a million owners like this.
And I could imagine it with a kid as well. Like, you could wake up and be like, let's have a good day. I've done it with Ryan and Crystal. Like, when they were younger, Ryan would set me off and I would just be like, I'm going to kill him. Like, and then that's it. We'd go to war. And then the whole day I'd think about, I really shouldn't have done that. Or, like, that went real sideways fast, and then that's your day over. So it's true
such
about
a good
making
topic what you're talking about.
But it's so hard, because
this is life.
It just happens.
This is life. See, people write in all these different messages, right? We would get, I don't know, Jack, what do we get? 10, 20, 50 messages a day about all different things.
Lots.
Yeah, lots. And people think that I live this really, they don't think that. It's like, I'm living the same life everyone else is, but I've made a real strong decision, because you can live a life, and I want to sort of word this right. You can live a life full of anxiety, full of like reactiveness, moods, and like a real bumpy life. Like, you can do that. And I've done that. Like, I've lived all different versions of life. But now I'm that fierce in protecting my energy set point, because when you do that, your life changes. Like, it literally changes. But you've got to be okay with things not being okay. For instance, yesterday, talking about our things, Tara texted me at about 3 and said, do you want to go to the movies? And I was like, I didn't really want to go. But I'm like, yep, let's just go. So I went, John Wick 5 or whatever it is. Don't go and see it. It's the worst movie. We walked out halfway through. But we went, and then I got home, and I was like, one of my owners ring at 7 in the night, and I'm sitting in the car making the last few calls. Go in. My ice bath that I had was really average too. It was like I couldn't even be bothered. Like, and then I went to sleep like at about 7:30. Literally just put my mask on and then went to sleep. Woke up today, brilliant. But I knew I would, because you just got to stop yesterday in its tracks. Like, it's going to happen with everybody. But today I'm like super excited to get back into the routine. And yesterday was like, it just is what it is.
That's why it's so important not to let it run and become a week or 2 weeks or a month.
I've got about 5 things going on right now that just are going nowhere, but I want them to go somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like buying a house, selling another thing. It's just all sort of a bit stuck. Last night I said, I'm not even going to give it any energy or think about it anymore. Forget it. That's it. Today I woke up and it's literally it's there, but it's not like because when you focus on trying to make something happen, like manufacture it, you get such tenseness around it and anxiety sometimes, because you're trying to think of the outcome. When you let go of it, completely let go of it, and say, it just is what it is. And then I'm going to focus on, there's a thing that Esther Hicks talks about that's so true. Just focus on one thing that's gone right or going right. So we just sold a house the other day in the Brunswick. It was an easy sale, like, that happened. The owners are happy. Everything's fine. I'm just focusing on that now. I'm just thinking about that. That's all I'm thinking about. And she says, which is true, I've done it a million times, just focus on one thing that's going right, that makes you feel great, and the rest will all sort themselves out around it. That's all I'm going to do. But not just that, but now I'm back in my routine. Your daily routine, read that question.
Is this about the work out your formula?
Yeah, formula, yeah.
Hi, Matt. Maybe a silly question, but any tips on how to work out the formula, or is it more a trial and error to see what feels good and what doesn't?
Yeah, it's such a good question. Like, this is great. This is where it's at. And it's not a silly question at all. I'm so glad he sent it through. Who sent it? You and your phone. Make sure your phone's straight, Jordan, when you put it on the desk.
Irene. Arena.
Irina, sorry.
Yeah.
Irina. So, I reckon over the last however many years, I've got to see that the track that you're running on is literally the formula that you have every day. Like, this is the secret to everything, because you've got to have because you know how I talk about excitement and you chase excitement. You can't chase excitement. What are you going to do? Go and chase all the parties that are around or something? You've got to have a day that you're excited about. When you do this, it's like you literally go to bed early. And also you got to, like, I'm just putting energy first now, like energy and frequency first. That's why drinking's not in my thing. I've given up caffeine. I never used to drink caffeine. Then I started drinking caffeine and energy drinks and all of this, and I just never felt that great. Like, in my mind, I think I was starting to think you needed them. So I've just cut them all out. I have a nutrition plan that I follow. Like, Jackson, do I follow a nutrition plan?
Yeah, you don't miss a beat.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, I've never seen someone eat a diet like
So
that.
yeah, and then, but now I'm like adding to it. Once you have like an understanding of what your body needs, gut health. I love working out gut health now. And I'm getting like my own pod made now. So Mick the Podman, I was talking to him the other day, and I'm like, can you make a pod that's specially for me? And he's like, and we've been through 4 or 5 different pods now.
Why are they different colours?
They do different things, like they got different energy placements. Long story. We'll get him to talk about it next week. That's why there's like brown ones, there's red ones, there's blue ones, there's turquoise ones.
So which ones do you have?
One.
Which ones do you have?
I'm on a blue one now that's like so it matches my DNA, my gene test, and my microbiome. So anyway, it's so good. But so every day I've got this routine that I'm genuinely excited about. Like, I can't wait to have the ice bath this afternoon. I have a sauna in the afternoon. We work, you and I do, every day, all day. But then the meals during the day, like, I love that how you eat, you end up looking like that. Like, that's how I see food. I'm like, if I eat all that chocolate, I'm going to look like chocolate. If I eat all this, nice fish and even carbs, like I'm learning so much about carbs. Like I thought I knew about food. I didn't really. But too much carbs, no good. No good. Your liver makes it into sugar and makes it, like your liver makes it, not in sugar, but your liver, if you eat too much carbs, it stores it as fat. So like, I was watching this guy called Aaron Reed, and Aaron Reed he's about 6'5". He's kept an 8 to 10% body fat his whole time. He was a competitive bodybuilder years ago. He's not now. And he just says you only need to eat carbs before and after training. That's it. The rest should be proteins and fats. You do that, you'll have a fairly steady weight thing. So I bought his book. His book's not very thick, and it's like $250 or something. But it has all the secrets of nutrition in there. So it's like, and then I had a meal plan from Mets. I'd stick to that as well, but now I'm adding to it as well.
So what is it? Just protein and because your meals look like it's fish and rice or chicken and rice or something like that. So is that guy saying no rice?
No, yeah, exactly. Not as much as I was eating, and it's so true because I was like a little bit bloated, and now I don't feel bloated at all. Like it's all these little things that you learn along the way. You got to try them. So that trial and error that Irina talked about, yeah, it is. But you've got to have something that works as well. So I get up in the morning, and I don't have this perfect formula, but I have one for me that I'm pumped about. So I get up in the morning, have my pod, have butter on top. Butter. Butter.
Hey, what's with that?
Fats. You get energy from it. It's actually what your body needs for energy. It makes you fire. See, these low fat diets, no good. No good.
So what just butter?
Butter. Grass-fed butter.
Grass-fed butter, you just cut a big chunk out of it.
I have it twice a day, 3 times a day. Yeah.
Well, wouldn't that be a lot of calories in itself?
No. Your body needs it. Your body uses it. Especially what I train and, what I use. Yeah, I didn't know that. Mick the Podman told me that. Mick the Podman and Aaron Reed as well. They both said it's like you get more energy, like your body needs butter, fat, that sort of fat, for fuel, for energy.
Right.
Yeah, your cells fire on it. It's amazing stuff, amazing. So gut health first for me, and then I have the powder, then I have these electrolytes, which Mick the Podman put me onto, and I have them twice a day now. I've never had electrolytes before. I'm genuinely feeling the best I've ever felt, ever. Like, I'm twice as old as you guys.
Yeah.
And then from that, I have a little bit of carbs before I train, and then go home and have more carbs, like porridge or something. And then I have eggs, spinach, avocados. Like, this is completely different than the way I used to eat. And then fish and a bit of rice, not much. And then chicken and some avocado and some eggs. And I just protein and fats all the way through the day. And I have pods to end the day after dinner. And I've just brought in, I'm having sheep milk yogurt.
That sounds disgusting.
It does, but it's like, it's so good for you. But I'm having that now. I've just brought that in. I'm trying that as well at the end of the day, like as a bit of a because I was waking up in the night a bit hungry. So you're just trying all of these things, then an ice bath and a sauna. Like I literally, like if you think about your work life and then your personal life, like outside of that, I'm that pumped about the structure that I have for my health and myself and my well-being and my energy and my frequency. Like I don't even want to go and speak anywhere anymore because you can't operate the same. I said to Tara the other day, I don't want to even speak anywhere. Like go and travel for 3 days and go and speak somewhere because I miss out the routine, the structure, because I feel like I've got set free now. Like emotionally, mentally, physically, like I just love it that much. And I'm building a new body from the inside out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm pumped about, And I'm learning about all these other things, like so much other things that Mick's asked me not to talk about it yet. I'm sure he wants to talk about stuff, but all of these other things that are like all these life hacks. And I'm like, imagine you do all of this. Imagine your age if you knew this. Like you'd live to about 180. but you'd be humming at a frequency that people hardly find. And then around all of that, you don't have to worry about your results anymore because your frequency brings them into your world. So doesn't that make sense to do all of that stuff first? But you know, people message me and go, oh, you mustn't have kids, or you mustn't do this, or you mustn't be married. Some person wrote on TikTok, oh, how do you even do this because you mustn't be married? What sort of question is that? I've been divorced a few times, but I'm happier now than ever. Like my marriages before were terrible because I was just like not interested. Like I was just like an anxious, stressed, overworked mess. You know, now I'm working less, but we're achieving more.
Yeah, way more.
It's amazing. And I'm trying to get you to do the same thing. Yeah, but at time and a season as well, because you're building a business, which I'm really focused on helping you do, but your profile and your growth and all of that, like you've got to factor all that in. Like I'm at a later stage, whereas if you're younger like you, there's no reason you can't do it, which leads us to the next question. There's no reason you can't do it. Part of it at your age, like how do you spend the mornings? What do you need to do here? We were just talking about it yesterday with time management. Time management is so important. You know, people waste time. You know, Tara will sit there and watch maths for 2 hours a night or whatever it is. I don't know how long it is. And I'm having an ice bath, I'm breathing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But she enjoys it because she's like, well, she's pregnant, but she enjoys it because she's like, she's into it. But that's the way she wants to spend her time. But with me, I'm like, I'd rather get my cells or inflammation down and with the ice bath and breathe. Like I haven't been breathing. I've done it on and off a lot of the time, but now I do it every day, just once. Probably should do it twice, but it's a bit like I have to be in the right zone. But breathing, mate, what an amazing thing. Like your blood in your body like needs all of that this oxygen, and that's why people get sick and things like this, because your body's not functioning properly. But if you treat it like a high performance machine, which it is, it's going to respond the way you treat it. So that's why caffeine and these energy drinks, I was like, just instinctually, I'm like, I don't know if it's good for your gut health, because I was getting a bit of reflux with it. And then my sleep was a bit all over the place. But sleep is number one. Like you have to have a good night's sleep. Is that Tara? Did Tara text you? No, she just texted me. But you have to have a good night's sleep. So that's first. And then what do you do? Then at the night, like I have magnesium, have adrenal tablets, have these other ones. I have liver. I have all sorts of things now. So do that every day for the next 1, 2. I'm going to live like that. Like it's got to have some benefit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Whereas you, like, if you run without listening to me, and I'm like, Jordan, there's a better way to do this. Because I run, trying to be the best in the world at what I was doing. That's great. At what cost? My happiness, my health, the way I felt. You know, you can go to work every day and like literally be like got nothing in the tank trying to perform. You can't perform. You've got to fill your tank properly and have your cells firing. Like our cells in our body and all of that, they're all just firing based on what you do to them. That's why when people smoke, it like baffles my mind. Jackson vaping, like ridiculous. Like, why would you do that? Like put all this smoke in your body. You ever go to a barbecue or a open fire and standing there at the smoke zone and you can't breathe? Why would you do that to yourself? Yeah, same as with alcohol. Alcohol kills things. Why would you put that in your gut? For what? To relax for a bit? Have an ice bath. You know, like spend $1,000 or $800 or $300, they're all different prices, on an ice bath and invest time in that. If you added up how much you spend on alcohol a year, it's the same. Why would you do that? I know it feels good and it's social and all of that, but I don't need it, like at all. Like not one bit. I want to wake up today, and I'm training after this podcast, but I want to wake up and give training 110%. I want to give the day 110%. I want to give you 110%. You know, I don't want to live a life that feels stressful and like I just feel like tired and whatever. Yesterday didn't go that good, but I knew today would, because I'd be like, okay, I've got to reset. If I went home and had 5 beers and then got into the day today and had 10 cigarettes and and ate a whole lot of pizza for last night. I went to the movies and just ate a bit of popcorn. That's all I ate. And I wake up today firing hard, like on a V12 car, like just ready to go. But imagine I had to process the other stuff. Today would be crap too. People live like that, George. Do you get it? People live like that. They choose to live like that because they're hurting inside, or they don't know how to manage the feeling they've got inside, and they think that's going to do it. That's like me going to the gym, keep going to the gym and thinking I need an energy drink. You got to be tough in your decisions if you want real success. I do. I want real success. I'm on that journey. I want to see what I can do by the time I die. Like, I'm pretty keen to see what that is. But if I kept going to the gym, knowing they're not good for me, for what, a hit before I get in there, I don't even think you work out that much better anyway. Like, I think you're half in la land. Like, I think it doesn't help your focus. I don't know. It's weird. But now I'm like, well, I'm just not going to have it because I'm going to get real with myself. Like, are they good for you? You got one there. Like, is there one good thing in that can?
This isn't a pre-workout, is it, Jacko?
No, it's just an energy drink.
No, I don't think it's even
on that label. There's 45,000 chemicals in there.
Carbonated water, amino blend.
Amino blend's probably all right.
I don't know.
And all the other stuff.
It's just
Yeah, but why would you put that? Like, now I'm like, why would I put that in my stomach? I take these pods and things to make my gut health amazing.
Well, we wouldn't normally drink that. I'd drink a water, but we're out of water.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I know. Next question. Let's go next one.
Next question is this. A question for the podcast. Hi to Jordan and Jackson too. I love that you are fully immersed into encouraging and motivating people to get out there, train, eat well, etc. Do you think it's easier for you to fully invest in exactly what you need because you're financially in a position to do so? Therefore, you're not restricted with money to do training, food prep, pods, etc. As a single mum, I'm keen AF to do the right training, eat well, and all of the above, but I'm restricted with funds to achieve what I really want to do. What's your advice for people in the same scenario as I am, people who are in the middle of building their empire, but are probably not as far along as you, but still want to go along on this health and wellness journey?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
It's a really good one.
I never really had money during my career. Not really. Last however many years, yeah. But, well, what are your thoughts?
I think good food's cheaper than all the other stuff. Think about how much. I had Thai on Sunday afternoon. It's like $100, $80. If you can't get I don't know what, I don't go to the grocery store and check, but I'm guessing that it's not that much. Probably a couple of $100 to buy good food. That's the start of it all. All of these other extras are great, but listen to what your diet is. Chicken, some rice, an avocado, or some avocados, some fish, eggs. Not expensive stuff. Like, takeaways are much more expensive, in my opinion. I think to get a good diet, you should still be able to work it in within what you can spend on groceries, surely.
If you've got a bag, we were just talking about this, if you've got a bag of pods, they're $110. I think there's about 7 in there. So that's one. They're like a meal replacement, so you can have them in the morning. I haven't had anything today apart from the pods. I just eat a lot of them. So that's gut health taken care of. Frequency costs nothing. Frequency is mindset and emotion. Exercising costs nothing unless you go to the gym.
Which is $80 a month.
$80 a month.
$20 a week.
Run around the block until you get more money or something. What else is there? There's magnesium, which costs, I don't know, $50 for a tub at night. You can have a cold shower instead of an ice bath if you can't buy an ice bath.
All right, let me ask you a question perfectly. Yeah. Let's just say right now you could afford $200 a week on food and anything else. That's all you could afford. But you still wanted to train and do the best you could with health, wellness.
I would join a gym. I would make that my number one priority.
Yeah, that's $20 a week.
Yeah, I would buy a bag of pods a week.
Yeah, you said it's about $100 a week.
$100.
Yeah,
$110. Mick might even work out a bit of a deal with someone if they're, in a situation. He's a good guy, so maybe. I don't know, I can't speak for him.
Could you add that on at the end?
What?
Like, could you start by just trying to have a really great diet first, and then once you earn a little bit more? No,
I'd put pods first, because pods are a meal replacement. But see, I wouldn't have coffee, I wouldn't have alcohol, I wouldn't have junk food, and I wouldn't buy other clothes, I wouldn't buy anything. I wear jeans and a t-shirt everywhere, everywhere. You've seen me, so it's like I don't spend money on clothes and things like this much. I buy shirts, these. But what else do you need to spend on? I don't think there's anything else. There's nothing more important than a good diet.
Kids.
And your kids, yeah. Your kids need their stuff. So I'd spend on, I've done it my whole life. I spent on my kids more when I didn't have money first, and then just did what I could. But all of the other stuff doesn't cost a lot of money. You can, like you said, you can eat well, very...
See, I don't do as... My stuff isn't as extreme as yours. I do a lot of one-on-ones with training, and that's like costs a bit of money. But before I didn't do that. I just trained at the gym with everybody else, which was the same. But I only take magnesium. I think like a multivitamin or something. The pH tablets that you gave me, I think are good. So your body runs in a pH level rather than acidic. And then I just have a really great diet. Yeah. I don't think it costs that much money.
No, I don't think so either. I think there's lots of things you can do. Like I see Michael and I go to facial things and all that. You don't need all that stuff, but until you get to that point. So
the only thing that I haven't introduced is the pods.
Yeah. The non-negotiable things for me are the pods, frequency, which costs nothing, and exercise, however you want to do that. I used to exercise in my garage.
We used to surf a lot as well.
Yeah. Surf, swim, anything. Yeah. So that's what I would do. It's all about feeling great. So you just got to do what feels good. But I cut out all the rest of the stuff. People are happy to spend $7 on a coffee or whatever it is. They're happy to do it every day. Steve, the money man, how long did he say it with a coffee? He added up a coffee, and if you did this with the money, it would end up 4.2 million. What was that?
I think he was saying annually people spend like $2.5-3 grand on coffee.
Yeah,
if you put that into some sort of index fund or one of the funds he talks about, that
ends up at 4.2 million.
By the time you retire, it'll be like 10 million or something.
It was amazing. Yeah, people are happy to spend. Thanks, Jack. People are happy to spend $5 on a coffee or whatever. Whereas imagine you just put it in what Steve said, and by the time you retire, you got an extra 4.2 million. Like, I don't know. You got to be ruthless with your decisions.
Yeah, budgeting.
Yeah,
important.
And
do you think that comes back to short-term gratification?
Yeah, it does. It's like you, Jackson. Like you will go out and spend $900 on 3 bags.
No, not that.
No, you will.
No, throughout the night.
No, you do.
No, it's true that like a night out used to be, for me, would be like easy $1,100.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I would make $1,200 in a week.
I know.
No, but I wouldn't spend that much on Coke.
You would.
No, it'd be pokies, Ubers, cigarettes, Coke, like everything there and after. But that's when I was like,
well, that sounds
18, 19. No,
So you see, that's a good example. Jackson would do that. He doesn't now, as of last month. But it's like, but he would do that. Oh, I've done it. Mate, I've spent that much money on whatever. You've done it. It's like, but that's why I'm saying you guys knowing what you know now. And if Jackson just put all of that spare money away along the way, imagine how much money you'd have. It's about being smart with what you got. It's not about having more. It's about being smart with what you got. If you had $100 a week, that's it to spend on fitness or health or whatever else. I would make that $100 work for me that hard. So whether that's food or whatever, I would ring Mick the Podman and say, what can you do for $50 for me for a week? He might make 3 pods. It's 3 pods better than not. You know what I mean? Until you, and the funny thing is, when you do that, you will become, your frequency will start growing and your results will grow as well over time because you'll be feeling great. People on the roller coaster trying to make themselves feel good when, like, they'll go and buy stuff that they can't afford and then feel terrible after it. Why did I do that? Because they think the thing's going to make them feel better.
Yep.
And then they'll go out and they'll have a big night to go and have fun, and then they'll regret it on the next day or the day after because they not only feel bad, but they spent all this money. You don't need all of that stuff to feel better. You can just feel better. The way the world is, you can just feel better by making a decision to chase frequency. once you learn to chase frequency, you make different decisions. Your life will slowly improve. And in 2 years' time, you'll be pumping so hard, and all your mates will be like, what the hell did you do? Nothing. I just made a decision to chase frequency.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
How do because it gets boring, I think, over time. Like you feel good when you don't go out for 3 weeks and you're like, oh yeah, cool. But then you feel like you're missing out. Like it gets boring. Like that's what I've found. How do you stop it from getting boring?
That's my biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Because I'm an extrovert through the roof. Like the fact of going home and just sitting in bed, actually, I want to jump off a cliff.
I agree.
Like literally on a Saturday night, if I get home from work, as tired as I am, I don't want to be at home. I don't want to be at home on a Monday night. I don't want to be home on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. And I'm not talking about going out. I'll just go anywhere. Like tonight, I'm going to some video clip at New York Pizza Bar with a friend of mine just because he asked me. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm pumped about that. You wouldn't. That's the last thing you would want to do. Like but I really have trouble with that massively. Like I just can't stay at home. I just can't do it.
I'll do it for a bit and then I'll get bored and be like, like it's not as like it's same as everything. It's like you go out for 3 weekends in a row, then you get bored of doing that. You don't want to do it anymore.
Oh, I understand. I spent 20 years making phone calls. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand what it feels like to do nothing else apart from watching the whole world do stuff. And I used to think to myself, oh, it'd be so nice to go to the shops because I did nothing else.
Yeah.
I really understand. And I'm the most impatient person in the world, better now. But when there used to be a thing called sleazeball, and sleazeball was like the precursor to Mardi Gras, and it was the best party in the world ever. Like it was amazing, so good. I get so much drugs. I get so pumped. I was like a squirrel just getting all the drugs ready for it. I get too excited, and on Thursday I'd start injecting drugs, and by the time sleazeball comes, I was like in the gutter. Like I was all the drugs are gone. Like I was that excited, but it was like, I still go to sleazeball, but I'd be very wobbly. But I understand, like as a young person, you want to be out doing things and seeing people and all of that. I really understand that.
But not with work coming at a cost. I'll still do a 70 or 80 hour a week. But if I get home at 8 o'clock, I'll just go somewhere for an hour and then go to bed.
Yeah.
I don't care where it is.
Yeah.
Like I'll go across the road and watch jazz.
Everyone's different. You get a lot of energy from being out social.
Doing that.
Yeah. And Jackson loves being he likes sitting at the Haven with his mates and talking and all this sort of stuff. Like I really understand all of that. But when you've got something bigger that's driving you, like if I knew what I knew now, I've wasted that much money in my career on just nothing that I should have invested it better. It's like I should have invested it better. I would have 50 properties now. But I didn't know at the time. Like it wasn't important at the time. But Jamie used to talk about super, and I'd be like 28 years old going, who cares about super? Like, what are you talking about? I didn't buy properties we have properties in super. He made me do it. I'm like glad he did now because I'm like not that far away from being pretty happy that the returns that we get from these things. But at the time I'm like, it's like old people stuff.
Yeah, I'm 28.
Yeah, I'm like 28, and Jamie's like, oh, we better buy this commercial property and we'll buy another one over here. And I'm like, mate, I don't even want to hear about it. Stop talking about these things like at the time. And that's a bit like where you guys are at. But that doesn't mean you can't make good decisions.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
But what Jackson's saying is he gets it gets all the end. You get sort of like tense, like you get you want to let it out. Like every 3 weeks, you're like, oh, I'm going to go get a release.
I think you forget how bad it feels as well the next day. Like you forget the scattering, being scattered.
And you can't really go out a little bit. You go out a lot.
I can either go have one beer and be home by 7 o'clock. I can't go out till 9 and have 3 beers and then it's like I go have one and come home, or it's like I go out and don't come home.
Yeah, totally. And you can still go out. I mean, do all that stuff, and I've done all of those things. But for instance, I say to you all the time, start sculpting your body again, properly. I know you work out and stuff, but you're sort of not as into it as you were before.
Yeah, no, I was talking to Sarah about that the other day.
Yeah, but when you've got that and that's driving you, you make all decisions around that.
It's like me with golf.
I get
more enthused playing golf than I do going partying. So that I'll get up on a Sunday and play golf straight away. But I look forward to that.
Yeah. Exactly. But people put partying as like, yeah, they're missing out or they do this. You get nothing. I don't know anything good that comes from partying. Yeah, you have some memories and things like that. But when you've got this big driver going on, like me, the next 2 years, I'm so focused on what I can do. Like the next 2 years, I just want to see what I can just do in life, frequency-wise and all of that. And then you make decisions around that. But if you haven't got something that's driving you that's a bit bigger, like Jackson, your body, I saw you transformed your whole self, and then now you're sort of like taking the accelerator off a bit. But if you went back on that, you got to want to, not just Dad says it.
No, I do want to. I think it's I don't know what it is. I was trying to figure it out the other day because I was so into it. Like I wouldn't miss a meal, but now I just kind of eat what I want. Yeah. Like not like over the top bad, but before it's like I was so strict on it, and now it's like, yeah, no, it's right. I'll have ribs and wings. Like it's all good.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then I'll still train the next day. It's just not. It's not perfect.
Sort of half in, half out.
Yeah.
It's like this. It's someone could be working a job and at home and like not really loving their job, and they're like, oh, I don't have much time for this or whatever, and not really loving life, but they really want to do something else. Every spare minute of every day needs to go into this other desire they've got. It might be florist, or it might be photography, or it might be something, so. And that's what I've done with 31 minutes. Like I've literally run something parallel now with work, and that's going to turn into something pretty cool. But every spare minute of every day is like, I've got to be the avatar of it. So I've got to be the person that's like he 50 and fit and doing that. Like I've got to put all that work in, and then create it along the way and make sure work stays pumping as well. And then how much more time does that leave? Like I don't want to go out on a Saturday night because Sunday's just going to be a waste of a day. So that's sort of how you make different decisions, I think, around you got to have something that's driving you so hard. What is that? Like that's what life is about, I reckon. Like the creativity of what's possible for Jordan. Like you love your golf. So if I were you, I'd be like putting all my energy into golf and becoming an amazing golfer. Like, because that's good networking for you. And some days, like you could travel all around with some of your business contacts, like Julius and all these people. Let's go to Tasmania. That's what Jamie does. Let's go to Tasmania and play on the best golf course down there. And let's go here. Or do you want to go out and have a bender and, all that sort of stuff and waste 2 days? I'd rather be playing golf all day Sunday.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like make decisions around in 3 years' time, what's going to give you most benefit? Is that worth going out regularly? I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, well, I think, you can find a hobby that's just as exciting that works in with your life.
You've only got so much time every day. Where are you going to invest it? For me, it's like optimum health, work and 31 minutes, and Tara and the kids. That's it. That's all I can do. I can't do nothing else. So I don't hear anywhere in that go and party for 3 days in Ibiza or whatever it's called. Go here. It just doesn't fit in there based on my, what I'm shooting for in life. Because I want to get to 55, look back and go, yeah, I crushed it. Like literally. And that takes a lot of work. I think people underestimate how much work something takes. So if you're working a job that's just average and you want to start a business over here, that business is going to take 10 times more work than you think it's going to. Like we're releasing a 31-minute platform now in 30 days. It has taken that much work, that much money, that much stuff, like relentless every day building this thing, like so much. It's going to be pretty good, I think. Like excellent. I'm really passionate about it because I think it's really affordable for people. It's going to change a lot of lives. It's going to I think people are going to love it. But the last 2 years, it's like building this thing has been relentless. People don't know this. I haven't spoken about it. But it's like, it's taken way more work than, and not 1 minute of any day do I want to waste either not working or 31 minutes or fitness myself or with Tara. Do you know what I mean? Like you choose. So in there, if you go out and go on 10 beers and then you wasted the next 2 days, what a waste. You haven't moved those things forward. Do you want to do the next question?
Yeah. The next question is, great podcast. Love it when you grill Jordan. Yeah, fantastic. A question for the next podcast. I've been recently flying high with a lot of good achievements that I was proud of, and then after that, In the last few weeks, my energy just hasn't been the same. I haven't been as excited and pumped. After self-reflection, I feel it may be because I'm thinking too far ahead and hitting goals and sales, and I feel like I'm not doing well enough. Do you have any advice to help me get my energy back on track?
Yeah, well, that's a good one for you. You've been there many times, Jordan.
I say it every week.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't actually know how to. Maybe you can help about getting your energy back on track. But I feel it all the time. Like I always think like, am I making enough sales? Am I listing enough? Am I doing enough for the team? Like who am I competing with? Are they doing better than me? I don't know. It's just natural because I want to win, and like you say, I'm a good competitor. I'm a good competitor. I don't know. My brain goes in and out of this like weekly.
I think we were talking about it the other day about your niece. Like when she's walking, you don't go, oh, you should get it right and boom and smack it down. How dare you fall over? Boom, smack it down. Like that's ridiculous. You help her, you guide her along a little bit. So the same as this. He's learning more now asking that question than just having a run of successes. Because it's when your energy goes, you start to think, well, why has it gone? Because it takes a lot of energy to have wins, right? And then you have wins. And you know what most people start to think? Where's my next win? That's what most people start to think. Where's my next win? The next win's got to be hard. That's what they start to think. Or is it not going to go as well? Or is it? We've all done it. Like we all done it. But once you realise that the wins are endless, the wins are endless. Like money is endless. You know when people have an amount of money, and it's like let's say you have $100,000 and it's sitting in the bank, people like protect it like that's all the money they're going to have. And they get really... So what got them there to have the excess money is a free feeling, a pumped feeling, an excited feeling, like creative feeling. They get them excess money and then they protect it and strangle it. They don't want to lose it. And then what happens?
They lose the money.
It starts to go down.
Yeah.
And then they start to get anxious and like, and strangle it and don't buy this, don't buy that. And they start to have this like restrictive vibe, and that restrictive vibe, whereas if you realize that 100 could turn into a million and that could turn into 10 million, why wouldn't it? Why can't it? Like there's an abundance out there. It's about what got you there and then keeping that feeling going. Like, keeping that feeling going, like not being excessive, but just like money is great when it's flowing around. When it's just sitting there and you're trying to protect the hell out of it, it will go down. Or your results will lessen because you're like, but when it's like, it's just an exchange for, money likes to flow. I'll buy that and that, but you only buy things if you feel right with it. This is not about money, but you only buy things if you feel right. If you feel like it's excessive, don't buy it.
So with that question, see, I don't feel anything when I make a sale. I don't feel up. I don't feel down. I feel something when I win a listing. Like, I'm like,
because you know the sale's going to come. You won.
Like, because I'm competing against someone. When someone says to me, oh, we're having blah, blah, out, I'm like, oh, game on. Get ready for this. For sure. And then when I win it, that excites me. And I'm like sort of always listing, so I get those wins. But I more put pressure on myself as I'm like, am I going to be the best? Am I the best I can be at this point in my career? Like that's where my brain...
Be forever. You'll feel like that forever.
And I don't know how to stop that. I don't know. But that's a really good question because sometimes I send myself a bit wobbly like I'm not as successful enough. But what does that even mean? Yeah.
When you think of your world, think of emotions, right? I
don't think of money. I don't think about anything. Sometimes.
So you don't think of money. You got lots coming in everywhere. So it's like, but if you can start think about it as emotions. So what got you to the wins? Excitement,
hard
passion,
work, good energy,
eagerness. Yeah. So buzzing, and then you get there, and you're like, whoa, and then you start to feel a bit overwhelmed, like because it's like busy and flowing and overwhelmed. Where's overwhelmed?
Yeah.
It's like down and like 3/4 of the way down. So overwhelmed is there. How did you feel when you were overwhelmed? You wanted to like jump off your balcony. You were literally coming in looking like Beetlejuice. You had no tan. You had this jumper up there, like you just like looked half dead. You're like, I just don't feel good at all. I feel so overwhelmed, and you were not loving it. See, emotional reflection. That's all you need to do. Look at where your emotions are. It's like me yesterday. I could have done anything yesterday to try and get stuff to happen. It wouldn't have happened. Like I just wasn't in sync with the flow of the universe. But today, you watch what happens today. Boom, 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 boom. So much good stuff. I can feel it already happening.
Yep.
So that's exactly what it is. There's nothing wrong. It's like I would look at him and sort of go, well, has he stayed on the same routine? Is he waking up passionate every day? Like literally just going, I'm so pumped. Or is he thinking about, are things still going to go all right? Like think about where your thoughts go. You know, are they still going to happen right? Is it going to work out? Is it this and that? Once that creeps in, changes your emotion, changes everything. So I just get back to really simply, like, good night's sleep, wake up, be keen. Don't think about anything apart from how good are things. That's all you need to think about. How good are things? Don't try and manufacture outcomes. Don't try and think, oh, if I do this, this will happen, whatever. Just stick to what got you there in the first place. Make the calls, service the people, do the thing, be pumped. You know, when you're in that zone, you become like almost a steamroller of success. But when you start to think, oh, I hope they like me, I hope this works out, I hope where's this, the market, you get overwhelmed and exhausted. And then you go down, and then your energy follows, and then your results follow. Is that it for today?
I think that was a good one.
Okay, bye.